Art and the Olympics. The two topics may seem like opposite shades of human culture, but could they possibly be related? An ancient tradition, first imagined to display the marvel of human achievement, the Olympics began in 776 BC in Greece. Yet what few may realize, in today's focus on high-energy sports and fantastic physical competition, is that historically, the Olympics celebrated not only sport, but arts as well. The perfection of physique in athletes was paralleled in the perfection of the human form in sculpture. To celebrate the mix of art and sport, the road to Olympia was lined with exemplary statues that welcomed those journeying to the Games. This mystique of art found its way into modern Olympics and all the way to Los Angeles in 1932. But how would art be uniquely brought to the Olympics upon its second visit to the USA in 1984? And how do these murals, that watch 400,000 people commute per day, relate?
Previously, there had actually been competitions in art. There actually were gold medals awarded for art up through 1948, but none of the famous artists wanted to compete because they were afraid they wouldn't win.
Right.
They wanted to be judges. So they started with an arts festival, a cultural festival it was called, and that was usually during the time of the Games. It's the first time it had ever been tried.
Right.
So we actually had 2 months of arts festival, a month prior to the Games, and then during the Games when it ramped down a little bit.
What Fitzpatrick did that was of fundamental importance is he brought together sport and culture in a way that said, well, in culture you can't have the direct head-to-head competition with medals.
The sparkling idea of a grand arts festival for the Olympics soon took root and began to blossom. But how exactly would Los Angeles deliver the promise of wonder, surprise, and awe, and evoke the spirit of ancient Greece once again? Since the 70s, Los Angeles has been bringing culture and art to its citizens through murals ever since 3 artists from Venice, California decided to step out of the studio and turn the streets into their canvas.
His concept for the murals and the reason he was sold on it so powerfully is because he was thinking about the original Greek games, and you had the great Greek sculptors, Praxiteles and Phidias and guys like that, and they would create a great avenue down to the stadium. And Bob saw LA's freeway system as being the metaphor for that. And the Olympic freeway murals would echo that historical reality.
Alonzo brought this to Fitzpatrick and said, A, can you get it done from the government permission standpoint? And then can you fund it? And Fitzpatrick thought murals were a great idea, and so he helped to push it through.
The mural project was alive. Famous in the art community, muralist Kent Twitchell was instrumental in organizing this whole project. Twitchell chose prime walls on the 110 and 101 freeways, on which 10 prominent Los Angeles muralists had free reign to create their Olympic artwork. Artists like Judy Baca and Frank Romero painted various graphics for the project, most containing scenes of Olympic-related activities. But Twitchell, already deeply involved in the whole project, had a different approach. He chose to illustrate the humanity behind the Olympics.
I painted 2 figures on both sides of the freeway right in downtown Los Angeles. Lita Albuquerque on one side and Jim Morphesis on the other with their hands open looking through, as I had seen a photograph in Life magazine when I was a little kid of Picasso doing. I think I first got the idea of this from the American Indian symbol of I come in peace, there's no weapons. I have the strength of being vulnerable. I painted everything to be seen at 60 miles an hour. I have this sort of ongoing thing that I often do whenever there's an opportunity of doing a religious painting on a government building. was sort of a separation of church and state statement. And this one, after it was all done, I called it the 7th Street Altarpiece. And I had painted Jim Morpheus as Christ and Lita Albuquerque as the Virgin Mary. I hired for the first time in my life assistants because I was in such a rush to help me. And I had created the whole thing paint by number and created all the colors and painted it like a big paint by number system. And then my students could come in and follow 2, 8, 17. And it was like magic.
In essence, Twitchell's unique illumination of humanity in the two artists he depicted is a testament to the essence of the Olympics itself. The Olympics is a marvel of athletics, but also a congregation of collaboration and the spirit of humanity. Although the LA Olympics are gone, the murals remaining continue to undergo restoration that speaks to the determination and vitality of the arts beyond the Olympics. Derived from a Greek tradition uniquely molded to Los Angeles, the murals help remind us as we drive to work in the morning or home as the sun sets, that when faced with challenges, there is always a way to orchestrate a solution.